What's going on, guys? John with Bull-Throttle Trading. Today I wanted to do another video where I'm going through stocks that have earning reports that are coming out tomorrow before market open. You guys seem to really like these videos, so I'm going to try to keep that trend going and keep you guys updated. I know when I first started as a beginner, one of the most difficult things for me was being able to find stocks that had opportunity, or trying to keep up with the news. A lot of it was like, should I start reading the Wall Street Journal or just get on Google, and how do you decide what stock is a good stock to buy? So I do these videos to kind of help you guys have a little more direction of where to look, and again, be able to add some things to your watch list, and see if I could help get you guys some value here, right? So that's what it's all about. So if you guys are ready, let's jump in. Alright, so the first one I have up on the screen here. Oh, okay, that's the first one, sorry. Alright, so we have CyberArk Software. Okay, so we can see, again, a lot of these are going to be similar because of the coronavirus. So we had this very aggressive sell-off, right? And we found the support at 69.51, and we started bouncing back up. And you can see generally overall, since we bottomed out, we had a little bit, it looked like it was going to maybe kind of consolidate or sell off a little bit. So, but we can see it's done a really good job of staying above this EMA line now, right? It's been very bullish coming back. So it's looking like, this is moving in a very positive direction. So we could see right now on the day, we're down 1.24%. Which makes sense. Looking at the RSI, it's very overbought right now, right? So tomorrow when their earnings come out, obviously we want to see what else it does on the day today. But again, we have very bullish movement, which is telling me that there's probably a good indication that these earnings are going to be well. And I know that we had this big coronavirus, whatever, before, but we can see these previous earnings are growing, right? So this one was 65 cents plus, this one's 97 cents plus. So, and we can see that by the graph, right? So then we had this drop off, but it's CyberArk has done a very good job at recovering, right? So even with dealing with all of this, like looking down at the news, like we could see, all right, lowers price target to 115 on the 21st. Then on the 27th, price target's now 125, right? So everything is moving very well. They're above the EMA line, they're above the SMA line, and the SMA line is starting to form this reversal, right? So this is a very bullish indication. Again, we want to wait and pay attention to what it's doing because it is very overbought on the 180-day chart, right? So again, that's just something that we need to be aware of. You could see we're kind of approaching this previous resistance point, right? So we have a little bit of margin there until we hit our next resistance point, which is about 5%, right? So we definitely want to do our best at managing our risk with this one, but as I said, this earnings statement is looking like it's probably going to be a positive earnings statement before the market opens tomorrow. And could be a positive catalyst to, break these new highs, and it, may even recover. So, again, let's definitely keep an eye on this one. All right, so the next one I have on my list here is a company called Veru Inc. And this is definitely a little bit more of a lower cap stock. And I want to, like I said, I want to include some of these in here. I know that a lot of you guys beginning are paying attention to stocks that are maybe $10 or less, or even $5 or less. And please understand that these are much riskier stocks, but I do understand the fact that there is money to be made there. It's not something that I trade the best. So my own personal value in these, I don't typically trade these very often. But if there is an opportunity and the value is there, then every now and then I will take a position, right? So looking at Veru, we can see that again we had this sell off with the coronavirus, and before that happened, very bullish, right? So we broke up, we hit highs of 474, we had a pullback, we broke back up, and we hit this similar resistance point. And we can even see here that when this approached this resistance point, it did a good job holding there for a few days, right? Or I'm sorry, this support. It did a good job holding there for a few days before it continued to drop off. So we could have assumed that we would have had, without the coronavirus, we would have had this nice horizontal pattern here, right? So looking at that, all right, we had this drop off. Now we've hit this. It was a previous support. It's now a resistance, right? We broke above it, came down. We got these higher highs, higher lows. All right, so now we're using this line again roughly as a support, right? So we're continuing this horizontal movement. And right now we're about in the middle. We can see we're a little more on the overbought side, but our momentum on our MACD is starting to indicate that we might start seeing a reversal. We can see that today it's been bullish on the day. We're up 2.66%. And we have earnings tomorrow before the market opens. So again, we have this bullish momentum before our earnings statement, which can lead to a good earnings statement. Now we can see these last two were negative, right? So this one may still be negative, but it all depends on, again, where they thought they were going to be after this. Like, they've pretty much recovered, right? And grown at the same time. So we can see we've got up into this horizontal window, and we're doing a good job at keeping above this support, right? So again, with tomorrow's earnings coming out, this could be, again, a positive catalyst on this that can help us push up and get to these highs of 474. All right, so with where we're at right now, that is a 21%, well, 20, let's call it, yeah, 22% margin, right? So this is a great margin, whether we're day trading or even swing trading for, let's look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We might wait 5 days and end up hitting these highs and have a nice swing trade here, right? 22% is a great return. So we definitely want to keep an eye on this one. All right, so the next one I have on the list is Tower Semiconductor. Okay, this is another one. And a lot of these stocks that I'm showing you, I know they're on the overbought side. So again, we need to evaluate and pay attention. But the bullish movement is what's drawing me into these, right? So this is another one that since we had this initial drop off, we've pulled back up, right? And you can see we hit this support level here before, and we're above it now, right? So even going back to here, you can see we bounced on it, came up, bounced on it, came up. We had these higher lows, and then we got the lower highs, and we got the lower lows. With the coronavirus, we sold off. All right, so now we established this bounce point. So we came up, we got pretty close to that previous support, which is now our resistance. Broke down, all right, now look, we're continuing this bullish pattern. We're getting these higher highs, higher lows. We've now broken above this support. Our SMA line is starting to flatten out. We're doing a great job staying above this EMA line. So this is all healthy, bullish trend, right? So when this earnings statement comes out tomorrow, we can assume that it's probably going to be a pretty decent earnings, right? These past two are in the positive. So again, we might have another positive catalyst here after tomorrow and see this continue to push up, right? So again, we're definitely on the overbought side, but as you can see, we're at 61. So there's, anything can happen. We're up on the day about 0.6%. So we'll definitely want to keep an eye on where this closes today. And then again, have our alert set for tomorrow morning and see if there's a good play to be made here. All right, the next one on the list is Sony. Okay, everybody knows Sony. So again, does this look familiar to you guys? Sony was bullish on, the first half of the last 6 months. We had our sell off with the coronavirus. And since we, found this support, which actually I'm going to call more down here, we got past below it on one day, but we did a good job of bouncing up. Again, higher highs, higher lows. We've now broken above the SMA line, right? And we're starting to, all right, break above this resistance level. So we can see here, we came up, we hit this resistance level, we bounced. We got higher lows, came up, we're not getting higher highs yet, right? So we hit this same resistance level, we bounced down, we popped back up, and you can see we broke above it, right? So again, we're on the oversold side, but we're moving very bullish. And this again could be a good indication that our earnings statement coming out tomorrow could be a positive catalyst to help us break above this resistance and continue this pattern, right? Our SMA line is finally starting to point upward. Not a lot, but a little bit, right? So again, this is a very strong looking stock right now, so we want to do our best at keeping an eye on it and making sure that we manage our risk. We start with a small position size and do our best at, being profitable. All right. Next one we have here, this is Pgt Innovations. Okay. Now this one isn't as bullish, and it's a little bit lower cap stock, right? So we can see we did have a positive earnings statement here. We had this nice bullish run, not too aggressively, but we were coming back. So we're seeing again this horizontal pattern. We have a support right here, and we have a resistance right around here, right? So we can see this nice horizontal pattern that we can definitely take advantage of, right? Now, when we had the coronavirus and we dropped below this, all right, we're moving back upwards. It's not as aggressive as these other ones are, but again, this could be a positive catalyst, all right? So their earnings may be doing better than what they were expecting, and we can continue to see this push, right? Especially now, one of the things that we got to think about, especially for swing traders out there, things are starting to open back up. They're talking about dates when the airlines are going to start flying, when the cruise lines are going to start cruising again. These are all big catalysts right now, right? So they're things that we want to pay attention about. There's opportunity around the corner, but we also know that there is news being released with a possible second wave coming around. So again, we need to make sure that we don't rely on this news to just 100% take us in a very bullish position, right? We need to make sure that we follow up and keep an eye on the analytical side of things. So again, just making sure that we're aware that nothing is guaranteed. So even though this is moving bullishly and things are starting to open, there's still people who are on unemployment right now. There's people looking for jobs. And there's talk that, we could see a second wave of this come around. And that makes sense. If they're going to open stuff up and people are going out more, I mean, we've proven that by quarantining it's worked. We've slowed down the numbers, right? So we can assume that, all right, if we're going to start to pick back up, that these numbers might start to climb again. So just be aware of that. All right, the last two that I have here, their earnings statements actually come out after market closes tomorrow. So these are ones that we may want to put on our watch list and watch, but their earnings don't come out until the market closes. So this may be a good play for tomorrow, but even more so Thursday, right? So just again, let's not force trades. Let's be patient. Let's wait for that confirmation. Okay, so we have Cisco Systems here, who again has a nice bounce after the coronavirus, right? So we had a dividend here that was positive. We could see we had 35 cent, 36 cent, and that's after this bounce. So this is a very good sign. And again, we have a very bullish pattern. Like we're approaching this previous support level, right? It's now our resistance. We've bounced on it once before, we've broken above it, but we're fighting, we're trying to get past it. Again, we are on the the overbought side. So again, we need to pay attention to that and be patient and make sure. But depending on how this earnings statement comes out tomorrow, we might see some more bullish continuation. Our SMA line is definitely pointing upwards, and we could see we had this horizontal movement between $44 and $50, right? This nice horizontal movement. So now we're breaking back into that window. If I draw a line here from there, and I carry this across, and then I draw another one from up here where this resistance level is, right? So we can see we're breaking back into this window. So we're almost fully recovered back where we were. And with this bullish movement being above the SMA lines, we can assume that this is probably going to be a positive earnings statement. So let's set our alerts, be ready, and see what Cisco does, and again, do our part as traders to manage our risk, enter at good entry points, and have a plan. All right, and the last one that I have here, and I love this stock right now. So this is a company, Stairis. Stairis provides a lot of products for the medical world, right? So we can see we had this nice horizontal path, right? We were experiencing this resistance like a little around $155. And we had a support that I'm going to identify around 137. We dropped below it. We were a little above it here, but like on average, we were right around this area. So we have this nice horizontal movement. We had a very good earnings statement here, a big push up. We broke above this resistance level, right? And then we had this very aggressive sell-off. Look how quickly this stock bounced back. And it makes sense, right? They're providing, sterile equipment and things that are used in hospitals and in the medical world. So when the pandemic comes out, the demand for their products rises, right? I mean, think about that. That's just economics. That makes sense. Their demand for their product when there's a pandemic is now, like, all these hospitals needed all this stuff. There were all these mobile hospitals being set up that needed equipment, needed beds, needed all of that stuff, right? So we've bounced back. We probably would have, when you see this big of a drop, what are we looking at? A 35% drop. Obviously, you get nervous as a business owner, as an investor. It's horrible. And we see this in many stocks, obviously. How quick this bounce back is going to reflect on these earnings. I mean, like, when you see a drop like this, you start to expect, like, oh, wow, things are getting bad, and with this company, we can assume that they probably knew that, all right, there's going to be a demand for our product. But again, nothing is certain. And when you see this big drop, it's like, oh my God, how are we going to get through this? And they did a very good job. I mean, you could see in some of these instances, there's a lot of real estate between these candlesticks and the EMA line, right? Very bullish. So we've identified a support level here now, right? And now we have this resistance up here. Now we're overbought again, right? We're approaching this previous resistance. So again, we want to keep an eye on this. And the earnings statement doesn't come out again with these last two until tomorrow after the market closes. So just remember, don't force a trade on this tomorrow. Let's wait until Thursday and wait for that confirmation, right? Just keep an eye on it. So I'm going to end it here. I hope that you guys got some kind of value out of this video. If you did, please hit that like and subscribe button and help support me so that I can continue to make videos for you guys. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I try to do my best at answering all the comments and getting back to you guys, and let me know things that you want to see, and I'll do my best to help you guys out. So with that, I hope you guys all end the day on a green note, and I'll see you next time.